And welcome once again to the Shadow Gallery. I am always, as always, your host, James Donnelly. I'm embarrassed because there was one comic that I wanted to comment on, but skipped over it on my notes because I feel compelled. This is going to be a one-off, but it will tie into my new comics, bitches, for this week. And that is Marvel Universe versus Wolverine, #1. A while ago, a long while ago, I would probably say, Garth Ennis rebooted, not rebooted, but just reinvigorated the Punisher. Okay, with his longtime pal Steve Dillon, who he did Preacher with. He also did a number of issues of Hellblazer with. Comic Noob, I'm looking at you. I'm waiting for your reviews, buddy. And this was inspired, also this one-off inspired by Carnival of Sins. You pal. I'm looking at you because I just watched a review of this, and it reminded me that I forgot this comic. So let me tell you in just a couple words how I felt about where I'm getting. Well, first of all, let's talk about what I was getting at before I started bringing up all these other people. In around when Ennis was doing this Punisher, kind of reinvigoration. He did a one-shot called "The Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe." It's bad, but it's good. I mean, it's kind of cheesy and it's kind of dorky, but in the sense that basically what the whole thing is that it's a kind of a what-if tale. It's basically, instead of mobsters, it's actually superheroes and super criminals fighting in Central Park that actually end up killing his family. So he goes on this one-man crusade that ends up actually being assisted by some others of killing all of the metahumans, if you will, in the entire Marvel universe. And that was, it's a fun premise, and he does some fun things with it, but it becomes a little bit too heavy-handed by the end. Like all of a sudden he's trying to make a point. It's a misstep for Ennis, but he's allowed. Then I think they did this Marvel Universe versus Punisher recently. I don't really know, and based on Marvel Universe versus Wolverine, I don't care, because this was so it's so unnecessary. It was moronic. I hated it. I hated every page of it. I almost stopped at least twice, because now whether or not they are actually doing some kind of weird tie-in to the Marvel Zombies universe, which was kind of fun when it first started. Really, the first couple of Marvel Zombie series, the first couple of mini-series that there were kind of cool. Especially the one with, Marvel Zombies versus Army of Darkness, because, it has Ash. And Ash is awesome. But it got really old after that. It became really boring, and it's just like, okay, Marvel Zombies, 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 zombies. It's like there are very, very few authors that can kind of sidestep the whole zombie genre and retrofit it into something really interesting. And again, as we were talking about in part 2 of this week's new comics, something that's character-based, like The Walking Dead. That's a great, wonderful character-based book. And for those of you who are wondering why I don't do weekly Walking Dead, is because I have them. I'm collecting them all on in trades. Because that's just the way I started collecting them, and that's the way I'm going to continue to collect them. Because I'm not going to download any of them or anything like that, so that's off the table. Because, you know, anyway, I have actually Volume 14, which I just read within the last couple of weeks, and boy, is it fucking awesome, which is the No Way Out trade. I mean, all of Walking Dead is awesome. It's wonderful. It's brilliant. Anyway, so we've got, and that's basically what this is. It's Wolverine going after the zombified Marvelites. Although, I guess it's not really a spin-off because these are not from like the Ultimate Universe tie-ins or anything like that. It seems to be like a plague as opposed to, well, they're just, you know, one zombie comes and they bite somebody else. It just seems, people just, you know, characters just seem to be spontaneously becoming zombies. And that's, I mean, God, it's so fucking old. And it's I mean, that's the worst part about this comic is this is really boring. And this is not just my, you know, this is not just my prejudice against Wolverine as a character and how much, you know, people seem to just, you know, freak out over, you know, Wolverine, he's so awesome. Wolverine is somebody who can be awesome with the right writers. Like Chris Claremont or Joss Whedon, or kind of Frank Miller, because Chris Claremont and Frank Miller kind of came up with the story for the, you know, the really awesome Wolverine stuff before. And there was a kind of disappointing Logan miniseries, which was circa World War II, that was written by Brian K. Vaughan and art was done by Eduardo Rizzo. And that kind of disappointed me. Because it was Brian K. Vaughan, and Brian K. Vaughan is usually, you know, a fucking genius. Because I'd never read anything bad by him, so that, you know, and it's not bad. It's just not as good as he usually makes things. Anyway, yeah, this was just terrible. Again, because it's about, you know, him, okay, well, I gotta track down all these zombies while all the smart people are thinking and planning. I'm going to be hunting and killing. So it's just, it's old hat for Wolverine. I don't understand why this comic even needs to exist. Thank God I didn't buy it. I mean, thank God my buddy, you know, who works at the comic store, you know, lent it to me. Because he gets just about everything every week. I mean, it's almost an entire paycheck goes into his fucking, like, his comics. But anyway, I think that's why I could never work at a comic book store, is because I'm afraid that just way too much of my salary would actually go into buying just other comics. So, but anyway, so that's it. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, it's just, it's awful. Marvel, please listen to me. Please stop with the fucking Wolverine, you know, spin-offs and side stories and everything, because he's just not that great of a character. I know that it's probably going to piss a lot of people off, but it just doesn't work, man. It doesn't work that well. So do with that what you will. James Donnelly from the Shadow Gallery, out.